Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Enough channel. In this video we're looking at the round 24 preview. So as per usual with our previews, we'll look at the most popular trade options, captaincy options, and then guess do something with our team. So I've gone with the most traded out first, just to I guess have a look at what trades are going on, and generally considering that you can tell by the numbers that the number of trades is dwindling as we get to the end of the year. Also, I guess people trying to save those last couple of trades. Excuse me. And at the top of the list this week is Charles Nickel Clockstart. So he's out with concussion this week. So it's interesting that he's three times more popular than the other trade out options. I think if you can hold him, you do. Obviously, if it's you need the number for your head to head, I understand, but he's only going to miss 1 week. So if you're holding someone like Val Holmes, then obviously get rid of him. He's not available until the finals, at which point Supercoach is done anyway. Mitchell Moses, so I can see people trading him out for one of the other three big halves. So yeah, okay, if you're going up, that's fine. I don't think going for a super pod or a downgrade option is smart. But yeah, I think that's a solid trade out. Scott Drinkwater, so this will be a lot of people, trying to trade him out to win their head-to-head matchups. Obviously, if you can hold him, he's a really good point of difference, as we talked about in the stock market video the other day. But I guess if you are desperate and you do need a second fullback, well, it stands to reason that he's not available this week, so you trade him out. Dylan Edwards on the chopping block as well, so I'm not sure what value you're getting for 533,000 when he's just as likely to go on a big run as some of the other options at the fullback position. So I guess if you've got him, yeah, I wouldn't have probably had him to start with. So um, in saying that, if you picked him for a reason. The Panthers are really starting to warm it up, getting into the finals. So he's the sort of player that could go on a run. Ruben Garrick, I guess playing Penrith this week, again, if it's, you're trying to get that point of difference for your head to head matchup, okay. But he has been one of the more consistent centre wing options this season. So, not the best trade, but I can understand if it's for a 1 week sort of deal. John Bateman, so I guess, a bit of a point of difference play that mightn't have worked out. Sort of similar to Edwards, though. I don't really know what value you're getting at that price. Guys like Cam Murray and that was sort of a few weeks ago at that price, and they've now the ship sailed on those trades. Hammer, so playing in the centres, he just doesn't have as much freedom as when he's playing at fullback, so that makes sense. Khan Pereira, so I don't know why people are still holding him, but yeah, he's a solid trade out. And Gutho. So I guess sort of along the lines of Mitchell Moses, people not loving Para's run, wanting to change fullbacks. I mean, with Drinkwater out, there's not many options that will probably outscore Gutho, I would have thought, but I guess it's a bold play at this time of year. The trade-ins, so we might be able to work this out. So Brian Toto, I think that's awesome trade if you can get him in. Particularly for Val Holmes. The CNK, maybe. But yeah, I think, if you're upgrading, it's good if you're sidewaysing. I think you could probably almost just keep the faith in whoever you've got. But Tyre is a really nice pickup for the back end of the season if you've got the trades. Latrell, so I guess this is the Gutho Drinkwater type trades. His price is pretty much bottomed out, and I can see it. Um, I guess just be mindful that you've only got him for 2 weeks and then he's on the buy. So factor all that in your trade decisions. But I've got him, so I can't begrudge anyone bringing him in. Jermaine Osako, so I guess, big score last week, so his price has bottomed out. He's leading point scorer in the NRL. The Roosters haven't been exactly setting the world on fire. So, I think if you're not, he might be the logical choice for like CNK type trade, but yeah, I guess if you need to go down, that makes sense. If you can go up, though, I'd go for a Brian Toto or someone like that. Kalen Ponga, so you're paying a big chunk of change for him, but I think you have to. He's just such rare form. Um, they're playing the Bulldogs this week. As much as I hate to say it, he could go massive again. I really hope he doesn't. But yeah, it's just I don't think it's going to be 66 nil big, but it still could be pretty good. Tino, so I guess a lot of people trade him out, trade him back in. 3 weeks off. Um, I mean, yeah, I held him, so I definitely recommend getting him in. He is more of a point of difference now than what he was. So if you can afford it and you've got the trades, I don't mind that. SJ and Cleary, I think they're the top two options in the halves, so absolutely get on. Cleary's price has bottomed out. SJ's, got a really nice draw, so that's fine. DWZ, so he's one that did feature in my sort of pod edition of the stock market. I think playing outside Sean Johnson is a pretty nice place to be at the moment. So, yeah, I think particularly if you're doing the straight swap for CNK or something like that, I guess just in that case you would be holding till the end of the year. So, Joey Manu, another high upside option. He can go as big as anyone in the centre wing spot, so decent trade. And Nick Cottridge, so bottom dollar price, that's unreal. I didn't realise he was that low. What he scored must have scored okay last week, playing big minutes. So yeah, I guess I thought maybe there's been a lot of bench sessions, but it's really only the two. Fifth round 15, round 17. Yeah, so and even in his games, you can see he's capable of a 17. Yeah, the only score over 20 this year is a 61. So I think that's especially against the Storm, that's a big fat avoid. If you're going to go bottom dollar, just nuff out. You're not going to get any points of any value out of Nick Kotrick. If anything, he's a auto emergency nightmare. So 1,064 people reverse back out of that trade. But if we have a look at the captaincy options, we'll go top 1%, see what the cream of the crop are doing. Well, that's pretty unanimous. Kalen Ponga, last game of the round against the Dogs at home. That's one thing I did want to look at is what is his record at home. So what's it, McDonald Jones? Look at that run the last 5 weeks. That's insane. 47 against Penrith, and then other than that, yeah, so 114. So since round 11, I think that's about the time he would have made the move. Yeah, had the concussion issues there, didn't he? So 114, 77, 95. It's pretty impressive stuff to look at. They got their next three games at home. Holy wow. No wonder so many people are paying $1 million to get him in. All right, well, I think that settles the captaincy chat. Outside of it, there is some good other matchups with Latrell playing the Dragons. Cleary against Manly, you can always go to the straight C on Thursday night. If it comes off, it puts pressure on your head-to-head opponent. Nico Hines, SJ, they're both good shouts against the Titans and the Tigers. Cam Munster, that's a bit quite pottish. Jacob Preston, that's interesting. 0.4%. What does that work out to in the top 1%? I have no idea. Um, only 10% of people starting him, but a few have put the C on him. Tedesco, Harry Grant, Tino, Brian Tyre, so getting pretty out there by this point, but it's pretty clear that that's the captaincy option, and at the moment, got 54% on Cleary, 14 and 12 on the other halfback options. So it looks like the play is to VC your halfback. and then captain Ponga. Latrell is a solid sort of point of difference type option by the look of that. For feeder, he's always in that conversation too. So I guess in terms of my team, it's sort of one of those things when I look at the team at this time of year, we want to make points, but there's also the head to head to consider. And I know in my main league that my opponent has a Sarko but doesn't have Kiraz. So I guess the play is to try and match up with a Sarko to take that out because I know, for example, he has Moses instead of Johnson. Maybe has made the trade. Um, you know, but yeah, I guess if I stick pretty fat with my team, the only one's going to be Big Tino has to come in. It's probably for Tohu. Doesn't quite have the upside of the other guys that I've got here. Um, because yeah, Sharks at home, so I do like Nikora. Good chance of getting a try. Souths are playing the Dragons, so I think if I need to activate the loophole, it's going to be Kaloa Matangi that makes way. And so for that reason, I probably can't go with SJ as much as I do love him as an option against the Tigers. It's just a bit too late in the round. So I'm going to go with Cleary, try to put a bit of pressure on early in the weekend. And then if I need to, I can just swing Tohu Harris in here. So actually, I want to swap Tarpany and Tohu around like that. Yeah, so then I can swing Harris in if I need to in place of Kaloa Matangi. No, sorry. I need Martin, don't I? So yeah, I need to use Harris to get to Martin. Yeah, so that's actually the play. Sorry, get Martin in there as the loophole captain. I could use C&K, I suppose, but um, I'm pretty sure that the centre wings match up pretty close. So I don't really want to muck around with them too much. It's really just to replace a forward. And I think, Kaloa Matangi is potentially the weak spot there. Um, but yeah, as it pans out, it might even be Toe who ends up in this spot. It sort of just depends on how the games shake out. But yeah, other than that, VCC will stay the same. Teddy Latrell, I think Latrell plays first, so we'll swap that around in case of emergencies. We've always got Carraz, but we've got a few Bulldogs players in case of emergency as like late interchange replacements. Hopgood, he plays pretty early in the week. That's a risk though. If I do that, then I'll lock out the starting position for the loophole captain. So looks like you're going to have to sit on the bench, Jermaine. But yeah, we'll leave that as it is. As always, if you've got any comments on the team, please feel free to add them below the video. If you've got any questions, those are more than welcome also. If you enjoy the content, remember like the video, subscribe to the channel. And other than that, I'll catch you in the next one.